Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another enthralling episode of the Monday Marathon e-waste processing series. That's a mouthful. Once a week we go to the charity shop and pick up all the stuff that they would have thrown to the transfer station as e-waste. And I like to save as much as I can. It's just one of my quirks. Most of the time it's not viable, not economical, but thanks to YouTube, I do make a bit of money out of the videos, so I appreciate all your support. We try and fix stuff, we clean it up, we test it. I also like to try and challenge myself to buy something when I'm at the shop every week and triple my money. I like to flip it. I am a second-hand dealer and that's what I do. I've never failed yet, although sometimes the pickings are a bit slim. Occasionally I find some pretty cool stuff in their scrap metal bin. This one being a good example, it's a cast aluminium vintage, probably 1950s or 60s griddle plate. It's a little warped on the top. It's been quite hot, but it would still be great for a camper. Cast aluminium wise, it's probably worth about $1. I reckon I can get 10 for it. It was out of the bin, so it cost me nothing. So there, that's a win straight up. We do have another couple of items I picked up, one of which I purchased, another came out of the scrap metal bin, and I'll show you those when I can get to them because they're at the bottom of the pile. We have a substantial pile this week. I don't know whether it's spring cleaning or what, but there's been a lot dropped off to the charity shop lately. There is a large pile, a box full of Christmas lights, Christmas decorations. Now, if you're a bit of a Christmas Grinch like myself, it's, roll your eyes stuff, not really that keen, hard to sell. But then again, I guess if we're going to sell Christmas lights, it's a good time of the year to do it. It's, what are we up to now? We're late November, so it's probably the ideal time to sell Christmas lights. I'm not sure why I'm swinging this around. I feel like I'm guiding a plane into land. Let's get into it. Let's unbox some things. We might go through, there is a really good surprise. Hang around if you're interested in vintage hi-fi. We're talking wood grain sides, 1960s, Akai. Quite valuable, I think. Don't know if I know it doesn't work at the moment. Not sure how far we'll go with that. We'll get to it later in the video because, again, that's at the bottom of the pile. It's heavy. Okay, let's go through some boxes and see what we've got. We do have a real assortment this week. Let's get rid of all these Christmas lights and we'll deal with them later because I need the room on the bench. And right at the front here we have, I think this is a light box, possibly for craft work. Might be handy if you want to look at your x-rays of how your latest hip replacement went. It's an older one. It's in good condition. It's got an older style plug with not the sleeves on the pins. It does have Phillips head screws. I'm guessing maybe 1980s or so. I'm not sure what light source it would have, probably fluorescent tubes. So let's plug that in shortly. In fact, we'll just make a little bit of space before we start plugging things in. I might move a couple of things off the bench because there is a lot. Oh, look, wood grain. It's a reel-to-reel player. I'm pretty happy to pick that up. I'm pleased someone didn't just take it straight to the transfer station. We had a little CD radio last week. That was an Anko brand. This is a Philips brand. I would assume it's a little bit better quality, but in all truthfulness, it's probably made in the same factory. The last one sold last week for $20, sold it straight up. So we'll test this one out. The antenna is not broken, which is good. It's got the lid at the top, so we don't have any troubles with trays opening. So hopefully that works. We'll give that a test shortly when we have a bit of space, and that should be a nice easy flip. Here's something else I bought, speaking of flips, and something else perhaps I could guide the planes in with, although it's very heavy. It's a cast iron fry pan, a little bit sort of stained in there, but I think that's all part of the curing of the cast iron. I know you're not supposed to scrub them with steel wool. Once you get them nicely cured, they do cook really well. It's quite solid. It's just marked 10.5 inch or 27 centimeters. I don't know what brand it is. It's possibly a fairly modern one, but hey, cast iron is cast iron pretty much. Wooden handle, in good condition, be great for campers. I only paid $2. I think I'd get probably 10 to 15 pretty easily. So that was a good buy. As soon as I saw that, I grabbed that and started landing planes at the charity shop. So that was good. The other item we got out of the scrap metal bins was again cast iron. It's a huge cast iron griddle plate, ideal to put over a campfire. It's obviously been fairly well used, but it's in good condition. Has a couple of swing over legs here, and you just stand it over the hot coals and you'd probably cook the best steak you've ever had in your life. I'm pleased to get this out of the scrap metal bin, and I think I could probably get $20 for this. Way better than just sending it for scrap. So there we go. It just needs a little bit of a clean up. It's quite dusty. So we'll get those things off the bench, and then we might start plugging in some stuff, going through these boxes, and later in the video we will have a look at this Akai reel-to-reel player. So much for leaving it as suspense, hey? Okay, let's power up this light box. It is, looks like it's made in Australia. Ilford Anitech A3 light box. So we shall plug it in. The cord looks okay. I've checked the cord, make sure there's no damage. I'll plug it in the appliance tester. It will be earthed, I would imagine, because it's a metal case. It should have to have an earth. So our appliance tester will be able to check that. And there we go. It's definitely fluorescent tubes as they flicker and carry on. And there we go. Yeah, they look like they're going to work okay. You can retrofit these with LED tubes. I've done that before. Let's see if we've got an earth before we start touching it. And yes, that passes on the appliance tester. Works well. Really doesn't even need a clean up. I'm not sure what I can get for these. I know people do use them for craft work, as I said. We're probably getting a little bit of strobing, are we, through the camera? So yeah, we will certainly be able to sell that. I think craft-wise, you can put a pattern over it, so you can trace over the top of the pattern. I'm not sure what else you use them for, but I don't have any x-rays here to show you, but I'm sure that would work really well. Nice, good piece, no damage, safe to use, Australian made as a bonus. I'm guessing we might get $20 for that. Okay, we better check this little Philips CD radio. It's a CD sound machine, model AZ1055. Let's plug it in the appliance tester. It will be double insulated, so there's no earth to worry about. Let's see if we have some radio music going on. Hopefully not music, maybe the news would be nice. Where do we turn it on around this side? FM radio, volume. Nothing. The switch is very stiff. Has CD, audio in, FM, doesn't even have AM. And off. We've got something dodgy going on. Don't know if it's in the switch. That's maximum volume. And we've just got a weird sort of beat. Sounds like horses galloping. If I play with the switch, doesn't really do anything. Okay, so the radio's not working. That's unusual. I wonder why. Let's see if the CD works. That switch is very stiff. It might just need some contact cleaner in the switch. Let's drop a CD in here. Okay, someone told me off in a recent video for the way I handle CDs. I must be throwing them around too roughly. I was tempted to get out the white gloves and be very delicate, or even long tweezers. Just been silly now. They're pretty tough and robust things, CDs. You're really hard to damage them unless you walk over them or something like that. Okay, let's go with that. We have nothing going on at all. Other than a little bit of a weird beat sound on the radio, we have nothing. There's no display. It's not spinning up. Our power is definitely on. We go back to radio. Okay, we have a problem. It may be something like a capacitor in the power supply is playing up. Whatever it is, it's probably a power supply, or at least some component in the circuitry that runs everything. It's not a radio specific problem. It's not a CD reading problem, laser problem. So I reckon that's probably worth a bit of a project, hey? I don't know. It's probably not worth it, but I like doing these things. Battery compartment's nice and clean, so that's something going for it. If that was all corroded, I would probably scrap it. But I reckon that'd be a nice one to save. It's not damaged. It would clean up near as new, but obviously we need to get it working. All right, we'll put that one aside. It's going to have no value as far as this video goes. We can't even sell it as a radio, but I think we'll do another project on that. Why not? I put myself further behind. Okay, let's get into the blue tub. I think we have kitchen appliances in this one. This is the base for a Well, I used to call these an air fryer, but I've been corrected a few times. They're just a convection oven. I think they use either halogen globes or a heating element and a fan up the top. So they are like an air fryer in that you cook stuff without oils or fats, but I think they're technically called a convection oven. So I stand corrected. Thank you for all your correctiveness. Right, is there, oh yeah, the bowl's in the bottom here. And we also have a sandwich press or something like that, some sort of grill. We'll get to that shortly. Now this big bowl, oh geez, it just fits in the crate. Let's get the crate off the bench. Now these things I usually sell for around about $20. If they're in good condition. The bowl has a little bit of a chip off the front there. It's only minor. Quite often if they're filthy dirty, or if they don't work, or if they're just not worth the effort, this one is pretty dirty. Or if they have a problem, I will actually just sell the bowl as a large pet water bowl or something like that. It's almost a fish tank. The little chip there won't really matter. It's very shallow. We might just touch the edge with a bit of emery paper just so it's not sharp. But I sold these for $10 and they sell quite quickly. I don't know if people use them as just for pet food or water bowls, growing plants in. You probably couldn't do that. They'd get waterlogged. But they do seem to sell quite well because they're so large. So we've got at least $10, even if we can't get this operational or at least clean enough to sell it. We'll clean up okay. Let's plug it in and see if it works. It looks like it's had a fair bit of use. It's a bit scuffed. I'll give it some power. Okay. A timer. Mechanical timer, that's working fine. The heat's already on. Why is it not going? Oh, they have a safety switch on the handle. There we go. Fan's working, but it sounds like it's a bit lumpy. Oh, it's okay now that it's wound up. Oh no, that sounds like a bearing's gone. Yeah, it takes a good 5 seconds to wind up. And as it winds down, we get a bit of rattling going on. So I don't think it's really in good enough condition to sell. It is very dirty in there around the fan. We didn't earth test it. I think these are supposed to be earthed through here. Yeah, it does pass. But it's a lot of work to try and get this up to scratch, and it's still going to sound a bit rugged. Oh, it does heat. I can feel it hot there. But given that we can get $10 for the bowl, I think we'll just do that. This can go to Ewaste. We'll chop the cord off, and the base can just go in the scrap metal. So there we go. We're just going to have a bowl and we don't get a cleanup job, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. Saves me a bit of time. The other appliance we have, oh beauty, it looks nice and clean. Not scratched up, looks actually virtually unused. That's fantastic. These are often very scratched and I usually scrap them because of the Teflon breaking down issue. It's a little dirty on the top, but that's in excellent condition inside. So we'll see if this works. I'll make sure it's safe. We'll definitely have a sale with this. Because inside it is an Anko brand, so it's only a cheap supermarket brand. But it does appear to be undamaged and pretty clean. Very good. Let's make sure it works. And make sure we have an earth. Beautiful. The light's on. Oops. That's getting warm. And so is the lid. All good. Okay, so that one just needs a wipe over. Doesn't need very much. And look, we might only get 10 for it. Should sell quick at that. I'm happy to give a quick wipe over for $10 and doesn't sit around too long. Excellent. With the kitchen appliances gone, it's time to get into this green box, which is the only box I really don't know what's in. We have some packets of something. What's this? It looks like a digital photo frame. Yeah, never had much success selling these, even when they were fairly new out. They're kind of old technology. They didn't last long at all. They were like the bee's knees for about 6 months and then no one wanted them. So 8-inch digital photo frames. We have a power supply, a little remote control. I don't know what that's broken. I don't know what that is, a stand, but it's broken. We have some good packaging. I'll use the box and the packaging. Yeah, big frame around it. Don't know what year it would be. Early 2000s, maybe 1990s perhaps. Does take USB, an SD card. Okay, I'm not even really sure it's worth powering up. I suppose we can see if it works. And maybe we might get $5 for it. I must check out online. I don't even know if you can still buy them. I'd be very surprised. Alright, we have our power supply. We'll power that up. We'll plug it in here, wherever it goes, over this side. Oh, there we go. A cat amongst the daisies and some more cats. Well, who doesn't love cats? Probably a lot of you. So it does have a broken stand. That came from there. And you could obviously rotate the stand so that it was portrait or landscape, so that you can look at your cats. Well, look, maybe I could have it on in the shop just showing cats. Someone might buy it purely because of that. It's kind of cute. But then what do we do with the stand? Well, because you can't really use it without the stand. I suppose I could glue it. Glue should be strong enough to hold it. It's just a right angle bracket. Yeah, I mean, is it worth it? Mucking around trying to glue something just to make $5, and even then we might struggle. That will fit back together nicely. I think super glue will hold that. It's not a lot of stress on it. The thing's probably dropped off the sideboard and landed on the floor, and that's what's done the damage. But it works okay. But ironically, you know, if I get $5 for this, it won't be much of a celebration because I usually get $5 for the power supplies anyway. 9-volt power supply. Mind you, I've got plenty of them, so... Alright, we'll do that. I'll fix the stand. We can put it back in the box. We'll get $5 for it. I'm sure someone will think it's a good idea. Or we could have it set up in the shop playing pictures of cats. And if you follow my channel, you'll remember all the cat stuff we got out of a box recently. The old calendars from the 1980s and 90s. And I've sold one or two of them, surprisingly enough. So there are people out there that like cats enough to buy images of them. Alright, we even have the instructions. Okay, I'll fix that, we'll pack that up, we'll go through what's in the rest of this box. Just while the glue's setting on that bracket, I had a bit of a play with this. It has got a calendar and a clock and quite a few other functions. I did check online, and I think this is probably more about a 2010 era one. And amazingly, these sort of things still sell. Mind you, most of the new ones have Wi-Fi connectivity and touch screens and everything. So this is fairly primitive. I'm probably going to try $10 on it, given that it works fine. The bracket will be fixed. It'll be back in its box. So we'll go 10, but yeah, I've never had a lot of success selling these. So what else is in this box? Another box. What's in this? It says colourful LED beauty mask. That sounds unusual. Looks like we have a heap of phone stuff in here. So cordless phones. Not sure, don't have much luck selling those either. Let's see what this beauty mask is. Goodness, it looks like a stormtrooper's helmet. Oh, is that scary? Does it light up? It looks like it's got LEDs in there. Oh, this is ridiculous. I don't know what it does. A beauty mask. Does wearing that make you look more beautiful? A face, a hat. You seriously would look like a stormtrooper. Is that a hat? I don't know. Well, you know we've got to plug this in and see what it does. There's a power supply. Is this some sort of controller? Does it massage your face? Flicker, color select, brightness. It lights up your face. Oh, there's another piece. It's a modern Ned Kelly set of armour. There's instructions, but of course we won't read those. Let's just plug it in and see what goes on with it. Are all the pieces connected? They have cables going to and from. That one has a cable. Alright, let's just sort all this wiring out. There's our power pack. This one has a cable with a USB. And this one has a cable. Oh, okay, USBs go into here. The power pack plug goes into here. And we have another one, but there's only 2 USB inlets. Maybe you can't wear them all at the same time. That's got a timer on the top of it, so we'll try that one separately. Let's see if, or maybe that goes around the neck. Oh, it does. I think that clips in. Does it? Maybe it doesn't. Let's plug it in and power it up. And we have a control here that says 30. Color select, brightness, time. How do we make it go? Flicker? Oh, it's going. Well, there you go. Red light therapy. What is it supposed to do for you? Can you see the red light? Yeah, I think it shows up on the camera. Could you imagine walking into a room with this on a dark evening and scaring the daylights out of your kids? Or the dog? Colour select. We go green. Surely that has to be a Halloween thing. How could that possibly benefit you? Facial whitening instrument, it says here. So it's obviously for skin tone, I'm guessing. No idea. Blue, green, purple, back to red. Brightness. Okay, I think that hangs off there. So it obviously treats your neck and your face, and I guess it's for some sort of skin tone. Yeah, I've got to do it. Scary? Could be my new image. Oh, yeah, that's weird. Okay, well, it works. Let's try this bit, see what this does. Unplug that. And does this one do the same thing? It's got lights on the inside. Maybe this is for your scalp. But I can't get the lights to work on this one. No, I don't know. It probably works, I just don't know what I'm doing. Alright, I better look up and see what these things are worth. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever had in the e-waste. And it looks new. Not that you would expect something like this to be battered around a bit, unless you are a stormtrooper and you've been in a fight. Alright, I'll go and check that one out. There is a little booklet here about it. Working principle. Optical whitening beauty instrument. Alright. There you go. Colourful LED beauty mask. I better check out, see what they're worth. I'm thinking it's a gimmick, but you put me right. If it works, let me know in the comments. Righto, let's dig through this box. I think we have phone systems. Okay, an older handset phone, Uniden. And I guess it's got the handset here. Unlikely to be much value in any of this. I do sell landline phones at the shop. They're easy enough to test, and this just has a basic phone cord, I think, when we can get to the end of it. There we go, and a little power supply. There's another one here, another Uniden. I'm going to have to check eBay just to see if any of these are worth a bit more than just $5 or $10. They're easy enough, as I said, to test. I can just plug them in my phone line here. And we have some little cradles, chargers for these sort of phones, the actual wireless phones, or cordless I think they were called. So they'll be a separate set. There's probably a few sets in here, lots of individual phone lines. I'm not going to bore you with all this. I'll sort it all out. A lot of the phone wires, the cables, I will just chop the plugs off and they'll go in data cable. I've got a stack of it at the shop, and I can't remember the last time I sold any of this. What's in here? Just a little auxiliary cable. No, just, oh, it's in there. Yep. Not much value. Yeah, so this is just all data cable, Ethernet cable, phone lines, and some handsets, and a heap of old adapters and things. Most of this will be scrap wire. So, yep, not much value here. I'll sort this all out, and then we've got to test some Christmas lights next. Before we get all Christmassy, here's all the telephone stuff I've sorted out. We have a large pile of data cable there with the plugs cut off, and that will work out to be a few dollars. I'm not going to weigh it up, but there's a few dollars there for sure. All the plugs and splitters and things can just go into the e-waste. There's a few cords I'll keep and sell. The phones, well, they're okay actually. This Uniden one actually still sells for around about $80 to $100 new. So we should get $20, $25 for that. This one's a bit of an older model. We'll try and get 10 for that perhaps. And the cordless set here is complete, and they don't get very much. They're pretty hard to sell. There's no scrap value at all in them. I'm going to perhaps just ask $10 a set there. If we get 10 bucks, we're well ahead. So I'll pack all this up. I'll clean those phones up and clean the bench off for the box of Christmas decorations. Bet you can't wait. Now, not really a Christmas Grinch. It's just that we get so many decorations cleaning out people's houses and sheds that it's pretty hard to get excited about them. And you can buy them so cheap these days, so they're not really much value to me. Someone's wrapped this around a newspaper, a couple of newspapers. I guess that's one way of keeping it neat. Where's the actual plug? Oh, there's a power pack inside. Okay, I don't really want to fight it. I just want to see if it works. Okay, we should be able to plug this into the power from there and see what happens. Press. Nothing. Why is that not working? I guess there's a chance that they're no good. We'll have to unwrap. Oh, there we go. Maybe the plug wasn't in properly. So you can alter the sequence and turn them off, but no colour. Okay, that's fine. They work. I think we will just leave them as they are. And I'm going to put the whole lot in a box at the shop. And I might try $5 a pick, seeing so it's the right time of the year to sell them. But I know you can buy Bud Lights and Christmas lights new for like $5. However, it's not always the actual outlay, it's convenience. If someone needs some and they see them and they work, and some people actually do like to buy secondhand to save waste, they're just really basic lights. Nothing flash. They've probably never been used, because who would go to the trouble of putting them back into this frame? There's spare, oh, they're coloured globes, they won't go with it. Although they're the right sort. And a bit of a layout. Okay, they work fine. We'll put them back in the box shortly. What's in this bigger box? I mean, I know what's in here. What sort? Oh, much the same. And yep, and that has a few spare globes as well, both coloured. Anyway, they work. So if we get $5 each, we'll do okay. At least there's no cleaning involved. Alright, there's more in this box here. Let's hope it's not one big tangled mess at the bottom. Here we had some coloured ones. Yep, they work fine. Good Christmas tree lights, no flashing or anything, just pretty standard coloured globes. We have another set here. Look like they're going to do the same thing. Yep, they're not very bright, but they do work. Like some people I know. Actually, I know some people that don't work either, not very bright. Now, are these lights or are these just... Oh, well, it's got a power supply. Oh, it needs batteries. I guess we could put some batteries in it to make sure they work. I don't want to give batteries in though. They're actual globes. I think it's got a little LED at the top. I'll go and find some batteries. We'll see what they look like. Just 3 batteries. Oh, there we go. They flash too. They all working? That one's not. Actually, the red ones aren't either. We only have half of them working. Oh, that's work. Oh, they're all coming good. Perhaps it's a sequence. And we're just off. Oh, we have music. Okay, I don't like that at all. Alright, that could go in our $5 a pick box, and they do work, but they're not getting my batteries. Okay, we have a big lot here. Is it just one lot? I think it's only got one power plug. And oh, there we go. A couple of different colours. It's got a joiner in it. Some don't seem to work. Oh, there, the joiner wasn't fully plugged in. And there's still one or two that aren't working. Oh, there's another joiner. Maybe they're just not connected properly. Alright, looks like most of them are working. So we'll try for another 5, and there's, what have we got left in here? There's a small selection here. There's a power pack for something else. 21 volts, I'm not sure what that's for. I don't think it suits any of this. This is just a really small plug-in set. I doubt they're going to sell, but we'll include them in the box anyway. And the last thing is this coloured set in its box with a couple of spare globes. There we go, they work fine. Looks like I'm doing a special on Christmas lights at the shop. We might be able to sell a few. I'll take that charger to the shop. I think that might be for a vacuum cleaner or something. A stick vacuum. 21 volts is an unusual voltage. We'll put that with my chargers at the shop. Oh, there was something else I found at the charity shop when I was looking there. This was in with the cutlery at 20 cents each. And if we have a look on the back, I'll get you a photo. It says sterling and a registration number. I think it says 925, so that is sterling silver and worth a lot more than 20 cents. I'll actually weigh it up and see what the scrap value of that spoon is. I'll probably sell it through the shop though as a silver spoon. It's got something written on there. Can't quite make out what's written on the bowl. And the decorative figure looks like it's a bit bent. I could probably straighten him up, and I could polish it, but that's probably going too far. We'll let you know what it's worth as scrap silver at least. That's the end of our box. We've finished this selection, except for our nice Akai reel-to-reel. We'll have a look at that next. So I did decide to give this spoon a bit of a polish up. It's got Picton inscribed in the, or engraved in the bowl of the spoon, which is a, well, it's a town or a place in a number of countries, but this one's Canada. And the figure at the top there is Champlain, who was a French explorer, Google tells me, who opened up, or at least trekked through large parts of Canada about 400 years ago. So it's a Canadian souvenir spoon in sterling silver. I didn't get you a picture before, but we'll show one here. It says sterling 925 with a registration number. Great detail. I managed to straighten him out, and that's a really nice spoon. Now, they charged me 20 cents. I gave them a few dollars because I knew it was silver. I just didn't know where it was from. And the weight of that silver, I just weighed it out. It's about 14.5 grams. At current scrap silver prices, that's over $30. So it's always worth looking at spoons in your local op shop or charity shop, because the ladies or the gentlemen that volunteer there usually don't know their silver hallmarks from junk. So the spoons usually end up in a discount bin. Always worth looking for silver. Now, as good as that spoon was, we now come to the real find of the week. This Akai 270D reel-to-reel player. Here's a tag at the back. I think this dates to the 1960s, the late 60s. I don't have any reels with it, but these things are the bee's knees for audio fanatics, and I think Akai was one of the best you could get. I don't think this one actually was a professional unit at all. I think it was made for the consumer market, but all the same, it's a quality unit. It's very, very heavy. Unfortunately, someone engraved some sort of identification number on there, but I don't know if it works, and we can't really test it. Well, not at the moment, because that's how the plug looks. I'm not going to go to the trouble of wiring it up just to see what happens. But online, I saw one claimed to be in working condition sell for $500 in the US. I saw a fully reconditioned one with new capacitors, new belts, everything, sell for just short of $2,000. I didn't see any that didn't sell. One guy was selling a lot of parts. This one's in excellent condition as far as the case goes. Other than the engraving on the top there, the front looks fantastic, just a bit dusty. And, you know, I'm going to resist the urge to say we'll do a video on doing this one up, because I know I say that all the time and we never seem to get back to things. But I am going to put this one aside. I'm not going to sell it for now. Something like this will not get any less valuable. The older they are, probably the more valuable they'll get, because you just can't buy quality reel-to-reel players cheaply these days. I don't know. I think people still use reel-to-reel in some situations. Anyway, I'm going to put it aside. I'll value it as it is untested. Let's say $200, just for the sake of a figure. It's a nice piece. I will probably restore it down the track. If I live long enough that my YouTube channel runs out of other projects, we might get to it. Don't expect it to happen quickly, but I'm going to put it aside for now, because I think it's one of these things that's just worth hanging on to. Just, you know, bury it if you like. It's not going to get any less valuable. And I might get to it one day. You never know. Yes, I know I'm supposed to be cleaning out my sheds, not filling them up with stuff, but, you know, this is something fairly valuable to stash aside, and if I need to raise some money, I can always throw it on eBay, but at the moment, I don't need to. I'm happy to just hang on to this for now. They don't come along very often, and it's a really good score from the Ewaste. Can you believe that if I hadn't have picked this up, it would have gone out to the tip? Probably dropped in the crates, smashed up, pulled apart for a few dollars worth of precious metals, and yet I could pull it apart and sell parts and make more than $200. So I'm fairly sure that's a conservative figure. I keep looking at it and you can't see it anymore. Anyway, that's been through everything that we've got to do today. Let's go and have a look at it all on the deck, and then we'll get to the notepad. So here's our interesting collection this week. Quite a lot of it. A lot of stuff saved. Some good value. We have the reel-to-reel and a Philips CD radio as projects, perhaps. All the phones cleaned up really well. I tested them all. I was actually going to play you this one. This one has a digital answering system, and it still had 8 messages recorded on there. I listened to them. It was actually quite funny. There were some choice words, and I didn't want to broadcast them in case someone recognised the voices. But yeah, hilarious messages. I will delete them before I sell the phone. Everything else there, as explained, I think I fixed the bracket on the digital photo frame, so that's pretty well as new. What else do I have to mention? We have all the Christmas lights down here. There was 9 of them in total. I've written down $5 each, but I don't expect to sell them all. We'll keep touch with that as we go. There's some cords and some random power packs. There's a 19 volt, like a laptop one there as well. I didn't write down any value for those, but I will keep those because I use them. And some of these cords will be either used or sort of sold pretty cheaply, but I didn't write down anything for those. With the beauty mask, I think I decided that this actually didn't go with it, and rather than a scalp cap or something, I think it's a UV fingernail dryer like we've had before, but I couldn't get it to work, so that will probably go in the e-waste. But I don't think it belongs with the Stormtrooper mask there. The bowl, as explained, I've just got to give it a bit of a wipe out. I haven't done that yet. I cleaned up this. It's more of a barbecue plate than a griddle plate, and it's reversible, and I don't think these are stands. I think they're just handles, so you probably just rest it on the coals, but I should get my $20 for that. And the other cookware should sell quite well, particularly as there's a lot of campers around this area. A little bit of e-waste there, quite a lot of electrical wire for my scrap bins. So yeah, a good haul all round. Pretty happy with that. Really interesting mix and some good value, as you'll see on the notepad. Of course, our good bottom line was helped by approximately $200 for the reel-to-reel. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's quite possibly worth a lot more than that, so we'll either get back to that at some stage, or my kids will sell it on a garage sale when I'm no longer here. Who knows? Probably with a lot of other stuff. Potentially $70, probably more, because that silver spoon price is really just scrap. So very good out of our items to flip this week, considering we only spent $4. And $345 all up for this stuff. As mentioned, I didn't include, as I said, the power packs or the cords or anything. So a really good, profitable week this week, well worth my time spent on it. And if you're wondering about the repair I did on the stand for the digital photo frame, I super glued it, but then I just covered it over with JB Weld on both sides just to give it some reinforcing, if that stays in focus. And I think that's quite a nice strong repair. Super glue on its own probably would have held, but the JB Weld is an epoxy, and it does really essentially forms like new plastic. So that's good. All fixed. Didn't take long to do. Hopefully we get our $10 for that. So that's this week, part 47. Let's have a look back at the last few weeks and see how we've done. Things have been flying from last week's episode. We've sold lots of items. The Nintendo bundle went for $80. Someone did want to buy the Mario Kart game out of it, and when I said 20, or I think I said 25, they weren't interested. And within half an hour, someone grabbed the whole lot, so that was good. Not much to go there, really. Oh, the adapters in the tech section. In fact, all that other stuff's in the tech section. The night lights out the front. With my e-waste, I have a specials table out the front where most of it goes. But any that has a bit more collectability or more of a specialised market that I'm not discounting, like that adapter, I've actually put in the shop. So it's not likely to get the same exposure. But we're moving things pretty quickly there. Part 45 sees a few things left. We will drop the George Foreman grill down to $10 now. That other USB fan's still there, but I've sold the one from the week after, actually. The mini stereo, that's in the shed here to do a repair. So I've only valued it radio only, but we will try and get that going. The universal remote is more of an upmarket item, and the retro 60s era Epicure speakers are in the tech department. I didn't want to put them out on special. They will hang around for the right person, or I may use them myself. The Panasonic Blu-ray player, I have... Oh, that was the one, yeah, that needed a belt drive for the tray, and so did that. I'm doing a video on both of those, so they will be repaired soon. The Japanese vase is still in the shop, but that's fine. It's a cute one. Part 44, not far to go there. The pendant light's hanging in the shop, so that will probably hang there for ages. I'm not worried about that. Pretty hard to sell heaters at the moment. It's cleared 30 degrees the last day or so here, so heaters may have to sit around for 6 months or at least 3 months. Have sold both the TVs. $75, that was the Echo Smart TV, and the TCL, which was the 12 volt one. Both of those have gone. The Shark vacuum is still in the shop, but yeah, again, that it pretty well needs someone that wants to buy a new one. It's a good condition vacuum, and it's cheap for what it is, but yeah, no one will pick it up because it's not really a super special price, at least for the bargain hunters anyway. Getting back a little further, part 43, everything is sold here except the vintage touch lamp, which is still boxed. So I'm going to rule this page off because when we get down to the nicer vintage items in the shop, I'm not worried about those. Haven't sold any of the items I've bought to flip though for a few weeks. And same goes with part 42. The only items left are the nice vintage ones, the Vulcan heater from the 70s, the AWA clock radio back from the 70s, and a couple of other specialist items that aren't really out the front to be discounted. So, we have sold some DVDs, I see. Anyway, we'll rule this one off as well. And back earlier, everything has been ruled off. Going back a few extra weeks though, just to show you that the items I buy to flip do sell eventually. They're not designed to be selling quickly. Those of you that have been following for a while may remember that large copper jug I bought from the op shop, which was only $8. And I loved it. And it was actually, I think, worked out scrap price, nearly double the $8. I did get my 45 for it. It took a little while, but the person that bought it absolutely loved it as well. So the things I buy to flip do sell. I'm just not trying to discount them to move them on, the same as I do with the electrical stuff. So that finishes this week's Monday Marathon. It was quite a marathon. In fact, I started it early Monday morning. It's now Tuesday morning, so it's been a marathon for me to get through it all. One of the most interesting we've had for a while, and potentially the most profitable, with the Akai reel-to-reel being a great piece. I was going to say a really nice piece, but there's too many reels. Look, I love finding that sort of stuff. I love saving it because it's history and it's quality, and there's always going to be collectors for that sort of stuff, and it's such a shame if they just end up in the waste stream. The other thing, well, the weird face mask. We had a bit of everything this week, potentially really good value. So look out for me next week. I don't know what we're going to have. Hopefully it's just as good. We'll catch you then. Bye for now.